So a few years back, I had a very similar situation to Jada Pinkett Smith with Will Smith, where I was seeing a girl, and she was part of this photography group in New York City, and we would hang out all the time. And then I started realizing that she almost practically started living in my place, right? She had her own place, but she was staying in my place like 4 or 5 times a week. And personally, I really didn't mind. But then over the months went by, I started to sort of like just want my own space, right? And at that time when I was younger, I was like, that was like a little bit after the pandemic. I sometimes struggle telling people to, you should maybe not come today. You know what I'm saying? And and because of that, I started acting in a way that she could sense my dissatisfaction. And the beauty about it is that there were days when I was happy with her, and then there were days when I was dissatisfied with her. And I realized that there was a huge difference in how she behaved when I was clearly not trying to hide my dissatisfaction. And I noticed that she paid more attention to me. Like every movement that I did, she reacted to. She was almost like the anxiety that my emotional coldness was producing in my nonverbal cues she was picking up on it. But the problem was that my lack of dissatisfaction was also mixed in with mixed signals, because I didn't want to make her feel bad, because I knew she was a good girl. She was a good person. People were like, "Oh my God, he called her a good girl. He's a fucking sexist." Shut up, Melissa. Right? And so I would try to cook for her. You know what I'm saying? To try to like make up for my coldness, and that mixed signal, when during the days when I would also be sending the other signal, it got her every time she would want to touch me. And for me, what I noticed the most was that she was like more twitchy, more reactive, more like what I did she noticed. As opposed to when I would act super interested, she would be more relaxed. She wouldn't be as vigilant of my movement, of my moods, as opposed to when I was dissatisfied. And I started to pay attention to that, right? Because this is very similar to what Jada Pinkett Smith is doing to Will Smith, right? Because Jada has said many times that she really didn't want to get married. She really didn't want monogamy. She felt pressured. She also resented that her whole family was getting famous and getting attention, and she wasn't. And so, in Will Smith most likely felt that, and as a result, Will Smith went above and beyond to try to garner her love, to garner her attention, because he could sense that there was something off, but her words wouldn't say it. Right? Most likely, she was not satisfied with the relationship, but she wouldn't say it. And this is what I want you guys to pay attention to. And this is what I began to pay attention to, right? So when I was with this girl, I noticed that I began to really pay attention, because I'm like, okay, this is really fascinating and this is happening, and I want to pay attention to what is it that I'm doing differently, right? I remember the first day when I began to pay attention. I had a dream of somebody else, of an ex, right? I had a dream of an ex. It was funny, that girl was from high school, and yeah, that's a little creepy. The fuck, but still though, you know what I'm saying. You don't remember people from the past that way. You know what I'm saying. And I was like, oh wow, that was a nice relationship. I remember that. And when I woke up, I remember my back she was here, so my back was more leaning towards this. And I remember, like, even when she was sitting in one side, my body was facing slightly in the opposite of her direction. And these are things that people don't know what you're doing, but they can sense that there's a coldness. They can't pinpoint to it, but they can sense it. There was also a lack of eye contact, a lack of prolonged eye contact. I would look at her, but it wouldn't be prolonged. So you add all of these little things up. I'm not done. Also, I would do work by myself a little bit more, when as opposed to when I was more satisfied, I would do work around her. There would be less physical contact, right? There would still be, the that kind of stuff. Whoa, not beating up. There would still be, holy sessions, if you know what I mean, right? So that was happening. But the beauty about it is that I remember having the sense that no matter how many positive things I did, if I'm still doing this whole my body leaning towards the opposite direction of her, even though it's not obvious, it's slightly leaning. I'm not making as much eye contact as I used to. Not making as much as prolonged eye contact as I used to. My text messages were short. Also, that's one thing. My responses were a little bit slow. That's another thing. Even when I would say goodbye, I remember that on the way down there wouldn't be that much physical contact, but towards the end I would say goodbye almost and with physical contact almost as a way to compensate for my coldness, right? And at that time, I was preparing to go to art school because I was doing photography at the time. So we would meet in the photography meetups, and it wouldn't be a problem when I would be around her, around other people. It wouldn't be a problem. But I just remember just feeling bad at sending her those mixed signals, and I just remember her reacting in a way that just got her obsessed with me. Like she really fell in love, and I remember I had to break it off, and I really told her like after a few months, I was like, "Hey man, look man, I don't think we should see each other no more and stuff like that." And you know she was sad about it, but we eventually got over it. And but I never forgot. And this is why when you're in a relationship that you're not happy, or when you're with someone that you're not attracted to, and that you're just passing the time and you're never gonna see them again, it's really interesting to pay attention to what you do, because this type of behavior, I try to do this as a balance, right? When I really like you, I sometimes you may not be aware that even though you really like the person, you might be suffocating them. And even though they might want you to suffocate them, sometimes you have to do this and reclaim your personal space, even with eye contact and body movement. Sometimes you have, I mean, with how you stand, like just not always giving them all the attention. That is very important. It keeps the relationship fresh. It keeps the relationship, it keeps it more suspenseful, and and you'll notice that the person that you're with will appreciate the love that you give them, because people like contrast. People like opposites in people. People like to see the full range of your personality, and they can never really know who you are if they never see your dissatisfaction, if you're always happy to be with them. Like they didn't sign up to be with a golden retriever. You know, give them the experience of coldness from time to time, because what it does, it makes them excited. The next time when they go home, they're gonna be thinking of you. They're gonna want to see you again, and then the next time they see you, they're more excited. I remember when I would do that, and again, it wasn't on purpose. She would give me gifts. She would cook me food. Like she would go above and beyond out of her way. And don't you think that's satisfying to them? They do like doing that. And you don't want to ask them to do that. You put them in a state where they want to impress you, so that then you could also respond to them. You could also give them something good, because sometimes when you're too warm, your gifts, your show of appreciation can sometimes be taken for granted if you're always warm. Before you give any positive affirmation, be a little cold, just slightly little cold, so that you could prime them to receive the gifts that you give them at a higher emotional state. You know, like you don't want them to expect to predict what you're gonna do. You don't want them to receive your love and receive it with half-ass energy. You want them to crave for what you have to offer. You want them to crave for your love and attention. And too many of us are golden retrievers in relationships. Too many of us are happy cockadoodle poodles in relationship. And don't get me wrong, it's fine with your family and friends, but relationships, you got to see them as how can I say this, as cats in a way, right? You got to learn to give people distance. You know, you got to learn to give people more space than necessary. Because a lot of people, before people break up with people, this is what happens. They feel they want to leave, but they feel awkward about telling you. They can see in your face how much in love you are with them, and don't get me wrong, that's fine. But sometimes people need to see the opposite in you to really appreciate you. And women like Will and women like Jada Pinkett Smith, I could sense that most likely she just wasn't happy, and Will Smith sensed that, and it forced him to go above and beyond and trying to make her happy. Now, I think I talked about this on the channel. How one time he planned her 40th birthday for 3 fucking years, man, for 3 years. Most likely he sensed this woman did not want to be with him completely. Like people sense it hits people hard. What the fuck? It hits people harder when they sense a slight coldness as opposed to a direct and obvious coldness. The slight coldness sneaks up on you. And when it sneaks up on you, because of the few things in the details, it's all in the details. The coldness is in the details, not in your face. I'm cold. No, it's in the details. It's in the slight eye. This is warmth, right? And this is the details. The little half extra second that you used to look at them before, now you don't. These are the tiny things that when they're taking a shower, they're gonna say, you know what? They've been a little off lately. Is there something wrong? And the key to get to that point is to send those little details. You might think, oh, Father Alex, I'm doing the little thing on the side. It's not working. How? She's not going crazy. It's like, hey, people are paying attention to you. Don't worry. Do this, do that, and it'll add up to a bigger, like, ominous feeling. And what happens when you do that, people get primed to become more receptive to your appreciation. They won't take your love. They won't take the warmth that you give them for granted. I can promise you they will be more satisfied with you. And if they do that to you, I can promise you you're going to want to see them even more. You're going to want to be more satisfied with them. And this is not something that is manipulative. I truly believe this is a natural part of relationships. There are moments in a relationship when you don't want to be with them, when you don't tell them. Then they can sense it. Then they start acting, then they start doing things for you. But then a few days or a few weeks later, all of a sudden that feeling goes away and now you want to see them. But now maybe this person might be a little cold, they might want their space, and you sense that. So now you act more romantically. And I believe in a healthy relationship, it's just like passions. You don't really feel your passion at a peak level all the time. You know what I'm saying? You really don't. You sometimes don't want to do it. And with relationships, you sometimes don't want to hang out with them sometimes. And that's natural. And what's natural is that you're going to be with them and they're going to sense that. And they're going to and they're going to do things to try to make you happy. And this is, in my opinion, this is what inspires romanticism. The insecurity of losing them, trying to keep them with you, the understanding that other people want them and that you have to work to keep them. These are things that any healthy relationship has, people. All right. Now, don't be doing what Jada Pinkett Smith does completely, because she's a damn Terminator, people. Okay. She is not happy in her relationship. But you can take snippets of it. You could understand the soul of it and actually reap a lot of benefit from it. As long as you practice, as long as you have a meditation practice, as long as you don't use people to hurt them, this is pretty much a natural part of most relationships. All right, ladies and gentlemen, if you guys ever want to learn how to use your feminine energy to influence people, learn how to use your masculine energy to become more assertive, and also learn how to blend both energies to improve your dating life, your spiritual life, honestly, your relationship life, your family life, your career life, this is the course for you. If I had to make a course for my nieces, I have two nieces. One is 19 and one is 15. 16. Holy shit. Oh my God, he's a bad fucking uncle. He's a bad uncle. Get him. Shut up, Melissa. You should get this course, right? And this is the course that I will make for them. So, for example, watch the curriculum, right? In the first week, we're going to be showing you how to establish a strong masculine foundation without letting it hurt your feminine energy. This masculine foundation is a source of who you are, right? It's your bodyguard. Without this, whatever feminine energy you create will be destroyed by the outside, because your masculine is your shield. So we'll talk about goal setting. We'll talk about how to develop a serious attitude. We're going to be talking about how to use more logic, how to use more goal-oriented behavior. It's more how to be a man. Now the next one is how to embrace the feminine energy, right? This one will teach you about how to minimize excessive masculine traits, developing self-awareness, healing abundant feminine energy, regulating your emotion, mastering voice qualities and facial expressions, surrendering control, and allowing pain to be felt. This is honestly, this will supercharge, like Kaioken, your masculine energy. After that, we have femininity in the workplace and how to be feminine in the workplace without letting people take advantage of you, and the nuances of how women on power should behave versus women who are subordinates in the workplace, and even the dress code. This is based on psychology, people. It's kind of insane. I'm actually excited about this one. The next week, we talk about navigating the labyrinth of male and female friendship. And this, a lot of women find confusing, so we talk about that. And how to identify envious friends, how to identify the good friends, how to keep male friends, and how to keep female friends. Week 5, we talk about how to release the burden of the past and stop and destroy mental projections. This is actually really powerful. And then week 6, we talk about how to increase your observational power so that you can read people better. And we have a bunch of bonuses. The course starts at $99, and you guys can pre-order the course today at $69 before it goes out. If you're watching this, most likely I'm in the meditation retreat, so most likely I will be praying for all of you guys. And just click on the description down below of the video. Right there, you'll see it, and you can pre-order that course. It's gonna be out by the end of next month or the beginning of February of March. One of the two, people, because I have a 10-day retreat to do, and I want to finish the course after the retreat, because I think the ideas are gonna be so much better. All right, man. I'll see you guys later. Pre-order, man. Oh, I'm closing the channel.